All right, so here we got the piece all, we cut it, we marked it. I put little stars where to bend. I wrote no here because we had to flip it upside down and bend it from the other side. That's why it says showing, because that's what we see, the rest is inside. Now when we first made it, from about here to here, it sat a little bit too tight. So we had to flatten this one out. And that side we kept it in the same place, but here we actually moved the line up and rebent it. So it'll fit nice and snug. That's going to get welded right across. And then later on, you can see we come right up to that edge. Here we actually caught that little piece. It's perfect in here. It runs underneath. That's where this was hooked into before, underneath that little lip that wasn't rotten yet. So we know that's all going to work for us. Now, as far as this edge goes, we don't have to go by this to know that. We're going to mark on the trunk and come down to where this measurement is on both sides, make our straight piece, and we're going to go from those measurements. So this way it'll end up, this bottom will fall to where it was before. There'll be a little bit of a gap in there, and that's fine. Once we pinch it around, we'll put a few tacks in, or I might actually drill this one and do a few spot welds. And what they had on the car actually was one like every, what was it, like every 6-8 inches, maybe? Like there was 2 or 3 on one side and not so much on the other side. But you can see it's going to have the right shape. It's going to look good once we weld and then grind that. It'll be fairly smooth. We'll do the same on this side. So before I cut all this junk out, when we put the other side in, we'll have to cut this here to match that other plate. We're going to reuse this little piece. It's hard to tell, but it's kind of an elaborate little thing. That white there's some kind of glue or something. But when we get our line and we cut this out, I might give this a sandblast and check the back. Feels like it's really, really good, but it's got this weird pinch that kind of comes up. So when your key lock goes in here, there's a piece that just slides in here and 2 screws hold it in. So we want to make sure we keep that piece the way it is. That gap is supposed to be just as you see it. So we have a little bit of a space. You see we have that gap. We'll be able to weld that up really nice. And then out here it's a little further. So once we get out to about there, we're going to have to play with our welder and work it a little bit. It is sitting a little low. This is going to come up like this. So we're not too far off. We'll be able to catch that. We'll try to do the same on that side, grind it all smooth. We'll have to cut the corner out here, put a piece in. There's a piece up in here we'll have to do. Same as the other side. The other side has got more damage. We'll have to make a plate that comes all the way down. Like in the other videos, but you might have skipped them. But this will be like a flat plate that comes off of this. And it's just going to continue all the way down. So once that's welded, we'll take this off. We'll do a cardboard template. We'll do that in a flat piece. Then we'll make a piece resembling this up to about here. We'll run that across the back. We'll overshoot it so we can slice it and bend it down. And then we'll make this end piece in here. We'll make it a little too big. Once we weld the top and bottom, we can put a little bit of a round in it and push it down against this plate. That'll be flat and templated already. And when we remove this piece, we'll make sure we don't wreck it. We'll basically surgically take it out. And the hard part is this piece is also bad, but this is the one we want on the same plane, so we'll make sure we keep that. We'll concentrate on that first, and later we can cut a chunk of this out and put whatever. And if it's a little off, as long as it looks smooth, this is where the rubber goes. So yeah, she's not bad. I talked about doing it in multiple pieces, and I decided after looking at it, it made more sense to make one of these for each end, and then mark our lines, bend it. I mean, that fits nice and tight. Like once that's wrapped in there, that's going to be great. So hopefully that kind of shows you how to do it. It's hard, but you just got to think it through. It's a big piece. We want it to look good. Little pieces at the end, we'll do what we got to do. If we got to do a little bit of filler at the end, as long as it's minimal, that's okay. But for the most part, our 2 big pieces, once we do this side and weld those in, our trunk then becomes solid. Then we'll finish the corners, and once they're done, the last thing we do is cut off our skin, make the new skin, and we'll get to that when we get there. Thanks for watching. Cheers.